Okay, as you see, it took all of about 30 seconds to get my sugar melted down, and I put a dash, and I mean a dash, of salt. That's for two reasons. One, to break the tartness of the zest, the lemon zest, and also to cut back on the sweetness of the sugar. So what I'm going to do now is I've got my container and my beater, my paddle, in the freezer chilling. And I found that it really does work. And my ice cream comes out real creamy, and it actually will thicken up and harden up a lot sooner than if you're pouring your cream and everything into your container while it's real warm, you know, like room temperature. So put it in the freezer for 5 or 10 minutes, and then go ahead and start putting your ingredients. So give me a second, I'll be right back. Hi, so we're back. What I'm going to do now is I put the whole pint of heavy whipping cream, and I put 1 pint of half and half into my canister. I'm going to take my lemon, and I'm going to go ahead and juice it real quick and pour the juice into my dissolved sugar mixture. Then I'll pour it into my canister, put the lid on it, and then we'll be back for the next phase, which is start layering the ice and the ice cream salt. Ice cream salt will be like this. It's a 2-pound box, and you'll use about 1/3 of the box. The more salt you use, the faster your ice cream will freeze up and harden up, and it'll be creamy. Okay, more in a minute. Okay, now you can see my juicer here. It says I got almost an ounce from that little tiny lemon. So we're only going to use a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Okay, so we're just going to take that, pour that in. Okay, you see? And we're going to give that a little stir. So I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay. So if you feel that your sugar started getting thick again, just put it back on your burner. You do not want to bring this to a boil, because it will curdle your cream, and you'll have to put it in the refrigerator to get it to cool down enough. So just keep touching the bottom till you feel that it's almost dissolved again. Okay? Okay, so we're going to take this, and you're just going to pour it right into your ice cream mixture. Okay? And that's it. I'm going to get the lid put on, and then I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, as you see, I put about 1/3 of my ice, and it's all the way around, and then I sprinkled the salt all the way around. And then you're going to do that until you fill ice all the way up so it goes over your lid, and top it off with salt. Okay, so we'll be back in a minute. Okay, there you go. So the machine is on, and you can see that it's turning. And we're going to check it in about 15-20 minutes. Usually the way you can tell that your ice cream is done is because it won't turn anymore. The ice cream will be so frozen that the paddle can't move and your canister can't spin anymore. So what you want to do is maybe in 5 or 10 minutes just come and punch the sides a little bit to make sure the ice is broken up. Rattle your pan a little bit, make sure the ice is staying in there. You'll see it shifting back and forth a little bit. That's what it's supposed to do. And that's it. So, see you in about 15-20 minutes. Okay, so I'm back. While we're waiting on our ice cream, I know you probably was wondering, why would she have a stick of butter for ice cream? Well, the butter is going to be used for the homemade caramel sauce. Now, homemade caramel sauce really only has 3 ingredients, not including the water. So I've got about a cup of sugar, and I've got it over my heat. And we're going to stir it. Do not use a metal spoon or a metal whisk when you're doing caramel sauce. I don't suggest doing it with plastic either, because your sugar is going to reach temperatures of over 350 to 400 degrees. Could potentially melt your plastic utensil. Wooden spoon is what you should use when you're making caramel sauce. You don't want your sugar to burn, so you need to watch it really closely, because it will sneak up and start scorching. I'm going to grab a cup real quick because we're going to need about a half a cup of water. Oh, I wish this girl would put my stuff back when she's done using it. I should not have to dig for my stuff. Okay. See what I said? See how quick it's starting to turn? Just that quick. I wasn't even gone 15-20 seconds. Okay. Once it melts, you're going to want to add about 1/4 cup water. Make sure the water is as hot as you can get it, so that your sugar doesn't crystallize. So I'm going to get my water real quick. So I got about 1/4 cup. And you may need to use a little bit more, but I wouldn't go too much more. Okay, see how that's getting a nice brown? You don't want it much more than that. Okay, it's a nice golden. Take it off the heat. And we're just going to stir it until our sugar as best as you can to get your sugar lumps. Smash them up against the side to break them up. Okay? Now, once you get that good, you can put it back on the stove, and then you're going to pour water in there. See how that bubbles right up? Take it off. See how that's bubbling? That's what you want it to do. Just don't let it scorch. Take it on, pull it off. The other way you can do it too, if you don't like this way, is you can put the sugar and the water at the same time. It just takes a lot longer for it to caramelize and get that nice golden brown. So whichever way works best for you. If it's your first time making homemade caramel, I would say put the water in with the sugar and let it do its thing. It'll take about a good 20 minutes or so to get it to caramelize. And you want to keep it on a medium to high heat, stirring it constantly. Okay? So we're going to let this boil, get back up to a boil so the sugar softens back up. There we go. And this is going to cook. If you have a cookie thermometer, that works really well, so you know when it's ready to go to the next stage and drop your butter in. But if you don't have a candy thermometer, which is one of these, you can buy it at Walmart. Costs about $4. You want it to get you see up at the top where it says softball is around 250. You want it to get between 250 but no more than 260. No more than 262. You see a little arrow there in between where it says softball and hardball. And that's around where you want it, around 262 degrees. Okay, so my sugar is broken back up. It's nice and palatable. So we're just going to let it do its thing. And I'm going to put the thermometer in there in just a few minutes and check the temperature on it. It'll reach the correct temperature pretty quick if you're making a small batch like I am. So I think I'm going to put a little bit more water in this. It's kind of evaporating pretty quick. And I turn the heat down on there. Okay, so we'll come back in just a few minutes and see where it's setting. Hi again. So as you see, the thermometer is already reaching almost to 200. So I don't want my caramel to get any darker than that. So now I'm going to put a 1/4 stick butter into my caramel to start with. It's already at 200. And you're going to want to stir your butter in. It's going to fizzle. Watching your temperature. And again, your caramel sauce is nothing but sugar, butter, and I've got salted butter in there, so that takes care of salt. And now it's about 230. So when it gets to around 250, I'm going to put about a cup of cream. And you got to pour it in, not too slow, but not super fast either, because it's going to bubble really fast. So what you want to do is take your pot off the stove. We're at almost 250, and we're just going to pour our cream. Stir that in. Put it back on the stove. It's okay if your thermometer falls out like mine just did. It's just sugar. Stir this up. Now it's not going to rock back up because you put the butter in there. So if you were thinking, oh God, I'm going to put cold cream in there and it's going to turn back to crystals. No, it doesn't. That's why you put the butter in first. If you like it more buttery, you can always add another tablespoon. So, you know, but I wouldn't use more than 1/3 of a stick of butter to 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of cream. Because then it's just going to be way too greasy. You're going to have the butter, the grease floating on the top of your caramel sauce, and you don't want that. You just want it to mix in real nicely like this. Look at that. Then you take your candy thermometer, stick it back in, if it will stay. Don't let your tip touch the bottom of the pot. It needs to be just a smidge above the bottom of the pot. Okay? So you see where my temperature is? It's at about 130. So you want it to get up to the 250, and then you can take it off. We're going to get ready now to check the ice cream, and I'll be back in a minute.